Hi and welcome back to our Dreamweaver tutorial. In this video we're going to learn how to use a Dreamweaver behavior to perform an image swap. Now there are a number of different ways that you can do image swaps. This is just one of them, and it happens to be the way that Dreamweaver has built into it. But again, there are different ways to accomplish this. And to see an example of what we're going to go ahead and do, let me go to our completed project here, and you can see how I have an image swap here. And you can use this effect, or you could use this behavior to achieve a variety of different effects, and we're going to see that as we go through this material. So let's go ahead now, and I'm going to minimize everything here. And I just have some sample images here. Now, obviously, when you're doing an image swap, you're going to need a couple different versions of the image. And you can see here, I have a couple different versions of several images. Some common effects that this is used to create are going from a darker image to a slightly brighter image, going from a sepia colored image to a full color image, or grayscale image into a full color image, or doing a slight color shift. Or you can use it to completely change the image. And again, we're going to see these different effects in this video. And I'm also going to show you how to do these simple changes inside of Fireworks, so that you can create this effect on your own images. Now, the only thing that you need to make sure of is that the two images that are swapping back and forth need to be the same size. So this image here, image number 4, we can see is 344 by 215. The one that it shifts into needs to be the exact same dimensions. If I click here, it's 300 by 188, and here again it's 300 by 188. And you can do this with JPEG images, you can do it with PNG images, you can do it with GIF images. Doesn't matter the image format, any image format that you could normally use on the web, you can use for this image swap behavior. So these are our sample images, and if you've downloaded the class exercises, these are available for you on your download page. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this folder, and I'm going to go ahead and paste it into the images folder for my project. And then I'm going to come into Dreamweaver, and before we actually start working on our page, I'm going to go ahead and create just a sample page and show you how this effect can work, or how this behavior can work to achieve the various effects. So I'm going to go ahead and just right click up here and create a new file. I'm just going to leave it called untitled.html, but you can name it whatever you want. And so we just have a plain blank page here. And then I'm going to go into the images folder, and you're going to see the images that we've added. If you don't see them there, again, just hit the refresh button right up there, and those images will appear. Now, the first step in getting this behavior is actually inserting the image onto your page. Now, you can do this in Code View or you can do it in Design View. Doesn't matter, whichever way you prefer. I'm going to go ahead and drag image number 1 onto the page right here. I'm not going to add any alt text, and you can see that's been placed there. And I'm going to do the same thing for the other images. I'm going to place the sepia colored image right there, the grayscale colored image below that. And again, these are the images that are going to appear on the page when we have not rolled over them with our mouse. And then I'm going to go ahead and put image number 4 in. And finally, image number 5. So we have all of our images here. And when we take a look at them on our page, we can see the way they're going to look. Now let's go ahead and let's add the behavior that's going to swap the image when we roll over it with our mouse. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the first image here of the birthday cake. And then I'm going to go to the File menu. I'm going to go to the Tag Inspector, and I'm going to select Behaviors. Now, if you don't see Tag Inspector over here, or if you don't see Behaviors, you can go to the Window menu right up here and select Behaviors. Not Server Behaviors. A lot of people accidentally go here. You want to click on Behaviors, and that panel will open up. And then I'm going to click on the plus sign right here, and I'm going to select Swap Image. And then I'm going to go ahead and go to Browse, and I'm going to select the bright version of this image. And again, the only change here is that I've adjusted the brightness. And I'm going to go ahead and click OK. And I'm going to do the same thing on the sepia colored image here. Go to Tag Inspector and Behaviors, and then Swap Image. Select Browse, and select the full color version of that image. Select that grayscale image there. Then we'll go ahead and select the full color version of that image. And then we'll select image 4 here. This is the one we're going to shift the color on slightly. So I'm going to go ahead and select that. And we'll select the color shift there. So it's going to shift into an orange image. And then finally we'll select image number 5 here. And this is the one that we're going to change entirely into a different image. So I'll select this yellow image here. And again, it's important that they be the same size. And Dreamweaver, very helpful. It shows you the size of the image right over here as well as the format. So you can see I can see 300 by 188 right there. So I can check before I even do the effect. And now let's go ahead and save that. And let's preview this in our browser. And you can see how there's the one that's changing the brightness, and I actually made the effect there not so subtle, but you could make it very subtle and just give it a slight mouse over effect. And there's the sepia colored image. Sepia colored images work really well when you have dark backgrounds on them, and you can see how it looks. You can barely see the change here in the background, but as I hover over it, you can see the actual content of the picture becomes full color. So sometimes sepia colored images really can give you a nice effect. Whereas grayscale, going from grayscale to full color, gives you a much more dramatic effect than going from a sepia colored image into a full color image. And there's the color shift. And finally, where I completely swap the two images here. And here's another example of the image swap. On one of our templates. And here you can see I've got some photos of houses, or the interiors of houses. And when I hover over them, it changes into another photo. So these effects can be very, very, very useful on your page. Now I want to show you how I actually modified the original images so that I could come up with the two images that I need for this transformation, and then we'll go ahead and set our page up. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm not going to do this in Dreamweaver. I'm going to go into Fireworks. And Fireworks is a great program for web designers to use. It's much simpler, much more lightweight than something like Photoshop. You could certainly do this with Photoshop. I just happen to prefer Fireworks because it is a little bit faster to do some things. So I'm going to go here and select Open. And if you downloaded the files, there should be a folder called ORG that just has the original images in them. And the first one I'm going to go ahead and do is the cake icon here, where I just changed the brightness a little bit. And I'm going to go ahead and open that on up. And obviously I would want to save this. I'm just going to call ahead and save it as 1A, but you could call the image whatever you want. And where you change the brightness and the contrast of this image is just by clicking on it, coming down here to the Properties panel in Fireworks, and selecting Adjust Color. And you can see brightness and contrast right there. And I'm going to go ahead and just select whatever contrast I want or brightness I want, and then click OK and save it. And now I have an image that the brightness is slightly different on it, so I can do that image effect. The sepia effect, if I want to do that, I just open up the original image, again save it. I'm just going to call it 2A, and then go to the Commands menu and select Creative. And you're going to see it says Convert to Sepia Tone right here. When I select that, it will convert that over to a sepia tone image. And you do the same thing to create a grayscale image. Here's the Oreo cookie image in full color. I'll save that with a different name, and then go to go to Commands, Creative, and Convert to Grayscale. And now I've got a grayscale version of my image. Finally, we had the color shift image we worked on right here. And to achieve that effect, you're going to come back down here to Filters and Adjust Color. And you're not going to select Brightness and Contrast like we did last time. You're going to select Hue Saturation. And by changing the hue value right here, if I make the hue value 0 here, you can see I'm back to that bright red, but I can very easily drag this over, and you can see how I can go into purples, blues, lighter blues, so you can adjust that to whatever color you want. And I made it orange, so I can select that right there. Saturation is the same thing as brightness in many cases, and lightness is a slightly different brightness contrast effect. But to achieve the color shift, you would just leave the saturation and lightness alone and just work with the hue until you get it the way you want. If when you drag the slider you're not seeing a dynamic effect over here, you need to check Preview. Make sure Preview is selected. And then click OK. And now you've got a color shifted image. And now when I go ahead and take a look at those, you can see there's 2 of each one there. Oops, I forgot to save that. Image number 4 is 4A. That's probably the most common or an easy to make mistake when you're doing this. But you'll see how if I had renamed that, we'd have 2 images for each. So that's a really simple way to use Fireworks to achieve these effects. And again, I think you'll find Fireworks is extremely useful to you. Um, Again, Photoshop will do everything Fireworks will and more. The advantages of Fireworks is that it is specifically designed for web designers. So it leaves out all of the higher end functions of Photoshop, and it includes a lot of the functions that a web designer would need, um, that may be a little bit more difficult to get to inside of Photoshop. And it also incorporates some drawing tools like what you would find in Adobe Illustrator. So really what Fireworks is it's a combination of Adobe Illustrator and Adobe Photoshop that is basically broken down to contain just the tools that a web designer would need. And that's the reason why it's very popular with web designers. And if you own Creative Suite 6, you have access to Fireworks CS6 already. If you've upgraded to Adobe Creative Cloud, Adobe CC version, Fireworks CS6 is still available. They didn't upgrade Fireworks to version CC, but the CS6 version is available to you. And really, they didn't need to change anything in Fireworks. It works just about perfect for what it's intended to do. So now let's go ahead and I'm going to close this off and go into, actually I'm going to come back to my desktop here. And when we go into our project folder and images, you're going to see the gallery folder here. And these are going to be familiar to you from looking at the actual website. And you can see I actually have one small here and one small sepia, and I have four small and four small sepia. These other images we're going to do different things with when we work with our image gallery, but we're going to use these four images for our home page. So now let's go back into Dreamweaver. I'm going to close that page off, and if you want, you can delete these sample images, and you can delete this untitled page. We won't need those anymore. I just needed those to show you. So I'm going to go into the Index tab here and scroll down. And here are our two images. And you can see the non-rollover image is the sepia version. And when we roll over it, we want the full color image to appear. So I'm going to select this first one, the image 1. And then I'm going to go over to Tag Inspector. Remember, if you don't see Tag Inspector there, just go to the Window menu and select Behaviors, and that will come up. Otherwise, just click on Tag Inspector and Behaviors, and then click that drop down and select Swap Image and Browse. And I'm going to go ahead and go into my project folder and into Images, and there's my gallery, and there's the full color version of the image. And again, remember, they need to be the same size. In this case, 250 by 200 is what we're looking for. So I'm going to select the full color version of that and click OK, and OK again. And then we'll click on this image here and go to Tag Inspector, Behaviors, and click the plus sign. And we will go ahead, and that is the fourth image, the fourth small image right there. So I'm going to go ahead and select that and click OK and OK. Save my page, and now let's preview it in Chrome, and let's see how this is going to work. And sure enough, there you can see the rollover effect. And little caption here disappears because the caption is actually part of the image in this case, and it isn't on the full color version of the image. So real easy to do Dreamweaver behaviors to achieve this rollover effect. Again, there are other ways that you can accomplish the same type of effect with jQuery and other tools, but Dreamweaver has that built-in behavior that should make this fairly easy for you to achieve. In our next video, we're going to go ahead and work on our gallery page. And when I select gallery, you're going to see I have both a photo gallery and a video gallery here. And you can see how when I click on an image, the full size version of the image appears. Or in the case of the video gallery, when I click on the thumbnail image here, it opens up a page and actually starts showing a video. In this case, the video is hosted on YouTube. But it could be hosted on your website, could be hosted on Vimeo, whatever platform you prefer. Most people prefer YouTube for this type of work, but there are lots of different options that are out there. So we're going to see how to do this media gallery here for both photos and videos in the next video tutorial. I'll see you then.